a Boston show, the frontman's wife described him as a crazed beast after Perry Farrell, Jane's Addiction's lead singer, struck guitarist Dave Navarro on stage. The concert came to an abrupt halt after Farrell, in a heated moment, aggressively approached Navarro during their performance of Ocean Size. Fan-recorded footage captured the incident, showing Farrell initially shoving Navarro with his shoulder before backing off. Moments later, he returned with a scowl, screaming in Navarro's face while the guitarist tried to keep him at bay by raising his forearm, attempting to create distance between them. The tense interaction between Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro reached its boiling point when Farrell took things a step further, delivering a punch aimed at Navarro's upper chest. This physical escalation forced a nearby crew member to step in, quickly separating the two bandmates as the tension on stage became palpable. Navarro, visibly shaken, retreated while more crew members and the band's bassist, Eric Avery, rushed in to restrain Farrell, who was clearly still fuming. The confrontation marked an unexpected and dramatic turn in the performance, which had been going smoothly until then. Although the setlist for the band's current tour typically features 3 or 4 additional songs after Ocean Size, the scuffle proved to be the end of the night's show. The group did not return to the stage, leaving fans confused and unsettled as the concert abruptly concluded without explanation. In the aftermath of the incident, neither Perry Farrell nor Dave Navarro, along with representatives from Jane's Addiction or Live Nation, provided any immediate comment. Entertainment Weekly reached out for a statement, but the silence only fueled speculation about the extent of the rift within the band. However, Farrell's wife, Eddie Lau Farrell, took to Instagram on Saturday morning, offering a glimpse into what might have led to the explosive moment on stage. In her candid post, she acknowledged the growing tension that had been brewing between the band members. Clearly, there had been a lot of tension and animosity between the members, she wrote, hinting that this was not a spontaneous outburst but rather the culmination of long-standing internal conflicts. She further described the incident with a vivid metaphor, likening the band's dynamic energy to a magic that had turned combustible. The magic that made the band so dynamic. Well, the dynamite was lit, she added, emphasizing the volatility of the situation. According to her account, Perry had aggressively gotten in Dave's face, body-checking him before the physical altercation escalated. Eddie's post not only confirmed the friction between Farrell and Navarro but also suggested that the tensions had reached a point where they were no longer manageable. For fans, her words painted a clearer picture of the troubled relationship within the band, a stark contrast to the united front the members had presented in the past. What had been seen as an electric, high-energy performance style was now revealing cracks in their foundation, with personal animosities threatening the future of their tour and even the band itself. Eddie Lau Farrell shed more light on the chaotic scene that unfolded on stage, offering a deeper explanation for Perry Farrell's outburst. According to her, the frustrations that led to the on-stage altercation had been building for several nights, largely due to sound issues that Perry had been enduring throughout the tour. She described how her husband had been increasingly upset by the excessively loud stage volume, which drowned out his voice and made it difficult for him to perform. By the time the band launched into Ocean Size, Perry's patience had worn thin. Perry's frustration had been mounting, night after night, Eddie wrote. He felt that the stage volume had been extremely loud, and his voice was being drowned out by the band. Eddie also revealed that Perry had been battling tinnitus, a persistent ringing in the ears, and a sore throat for several performances, which only added to his distress. These issues compounded until, during the Boston show, the situation reached a breaking point. Perry had been suffering from tinnitus and a sore throat every night, she explained. But it wasn't just his own discomfort that triggered the outburst. According to Eddie, members of the audience had begun to complain as well. Fans in the front row started shouting at Perry, swearing at him and expressing their frustration that the band was playing too loudly, making it difficult to hear the vocals. Eddie described how this moment was the final straw for her husband. When the audience in the first row started complaining up to Perry, cussing at him that the band was playing too loud and that they couldn't hear him, Perry lost it, she wrote. While fan-captured videos from the show painted a dramatic picture of the confrontation between Perry and guitarist Dave Navarro, Eddie insisted that these clips only captured part of the story. She offered a more detailed account of what happened behind the scenes and revealed that the real outcome of the tussle involved bassist Eric Avery. According to her, Navarro had been trying to defuse the situation, holding Perry at arm's length in an attempt to calm things down. However, things took an unexpected turn when Avery intervened. While Dave was keeping Perry at arm's length to de-escalate the situation, Dan rushed over to help by holding Perry back, Eddie explained. But while Dan attempted to restrain Perry, Avery took a more aggressive approach. As the stage dimmed and attention shifted away from the chaos, Avery allegedly made his move. Dave walked away to take his guitar off. Eric walked up to Perry upstage in the dark behind Dan, put Perry in a headlock, and punched him in the stomach 3 times, Eddie revealed. The situation quickly spiraled further, and a crew member with long hair, named Kevin, intervened, pulling Avery away from Perry. Despite the intensity of the moment, Eddie described Avery's actions as almost casual. After the altercation, Avery walked to the front of the stage, where he calmly addressed the audience, apologizing for the show ending prematurely. Then Eric, nonchalant, walked off to the front of the stage to apologize to the audience for the show ending early, she added. Eddie's detailed recounting of the backstage drama painted a picture of a band grappling with deep-seated tensions, both personal and professional. What had seemed like a spontaneous outburst from Perry was, in fact, the result of simmering frustration over technical difficulties and internal band dynamics. Avery's unexpected involvement further complicated the narrative, hinting at possible underlying issues between the band members that extended beyond the immediate confrontation with Navarro. For fans, Eddie's revelations provided a clearer, though far more troubling, understanding of the tensions that had been brewing behind the scenes of Jane's Addictions tour. Eddie Farrell also offered insight into the aftermath of the explosive on-stage encounter, shedding light on how each member handled the emotional fallout. Despite the chaos, she couldn't help but note how Dave Navarro remained remarkably composed. Dave still looked handsome and cool in the middle of a fight, she wrote, emphasizing how, even in the midst of a tense situation, Navarro maintained his usual calm and collected demeanor. In stark contrast, Perry Farrell, her husband, was consumed by his emotions. Perry was a crazed beast for the next half an hour, she continued, describing how the singer's anger persisted long after the altercation had ended. He wasn't able to calm down, and instead, his frustration eventually gave way to deep sadness. Eddie recalled how Perry broke down in tears, overcome by the intensity of the moment. He finally did not calm down, but did break down and cried, she added, highlighting the emotional toll the confrontation had taken on him. Eddie didn't hold back when describing the role of bassist Eric Avery in the situation either. She expressed her dismay at his actions, suggesting that Avery may have taken advantage of the tension to physically attack Perry. Eric, well, he either didn't understand what de-escalation meant or took advantage of the situation and got in a few cheap shots on Perry, she wrote. This accusation further complicated the picture of what unfolded during and after the on-stage fight, raising questions about the internal dynamics of the band and the unresolved issues simmering beneath the surface. Jane's Addiction is currently in the midst of their first tour featuring their original lineup since 2010, making the incident all the more significant. The tour, which began in May, was marked by excitement and anticipation following Eric Avery's return to the band in 2022 after a long hiatus, and Navarro's recovery from the effects of long COVID. For fans, the reunion of Perry Farrell, Dave Navarro, Eric Avery, and drummer Stephen Perkins was a long-awaited moment, bringing the band's original chemistry back to the stage. However, the recent on-stage scuffle cast a shadow over what was supposed to be a triumphant return. With 15 more shows listed on their website, it remains unclear how the band will move forward in light of the altercation. The incident has left fans wondering whether the tension between the members will continue to affect their performances or if they will find a way to reconcile and complete the tour without further drama.